We would like to welcome Giri sir. Giri Shankar is a performance tester at Cognizant. Giri would be speaking on automated E2E performance testing. To know more about Giri Shankar and to see his video interview, please check out the link given below. The floor is all yours, Giri sir, so you may share your screen.
Yeah. So my screen is visible, right, Shivam?
Yes, sir, it is, and you're audible too.
Yeah, thank you. So hello all, welcome to my lightning talks on automated end-to-end performance testing. And myself, Giri, I am currently working as a performance tester in Cognizant Technology Solutions, having 8 years of experience. My topic is about automated end-to-end performance testing, which is basically developed on the case study, something like the issues or the bottlenecks which we are facing in our day-to-day activities in our projects. So taking that as an input, we came out with the output of developing automated end-to-end performance system. So what happens really in our project is we have to do the performance testing of various modules like user experience module, web services module, mobile and desktop applications. So everything is segregated into the different projects. And also to do the performance testing for each modules, the controller in the sense it is the tool setup. In my case, it is a NeoLoad. So the controller setup is done in different VMs. And since it is a multiple modules, each controller will be in different VMs. It is a tedious process for the performance tester to open the multiple controllers simultaneously, and also to do the pre-check activities like to take the latest project from the source control. And also in turn, he will be mapping the multiple load generator to his controller that has to be restarted every time to clear out the temp files or some unwanted process which is running there. And also once a test is completed, the results has to be checked in again to the repository. The results has to be generated and he has to share it to the stakeholders. So since, as I said, like multiple modules in a place, it is like very difficult process or time consuming process for the performance tester who is involved in it. So we have taken this as a case study, right? For every monthly releases, we have to do the regression testing of the load testing suite, which is between the multiple VMs, the controller setup VMs, right? In order to make this automated, we came up with the approach of using Jenkins master slave concept. So each controller will be, your project module, NeoLoad controller will be assigned to each slave machines. And by making use of the NeoLoad command line execution option, we are automated the entire end-to-end approach, right from the pre-check activities till the post-check activities, and also result preparation and sharing it across stakeholders. So the entire thing is automated in this fashion. So this is the approach which we have followed for automating it. So once the performance tester start doing his activity, first he will launch the Jenkins URL, and through Jenkins he will be building by means of building the job that is made up of the multi-job. That is a plugin we have in Jenkins. So this multi-job build, which in turn has these multiple builds. So each build is assigned with different projects, each project. Say for example, build A is assigned with UX, build B is assigned with web services, build C is assigned with some mobile applications like that. So once he trigger this multi-job, which in turn will trigger the job build A, B, C like that. So once it started doing the build, in the pre-build action, we have given the project checkout options to take the latest copy from the SVN, and by means of using the batch or In case if your controller is in Windows, you can use bash scripts to do the LG restart. If it is your controller setup in the Linux systems, you can use the shell commands to do the LG restart. And in the build action, once this pre-build action is done, it will go to the build actions. There in build actions, you have the options to execute Windows batch or execute shell commands, right? So there I have given the command line arguments to do the neoload executions. Once the execution is completed, the arguments which is already added in the neoload command line, it will do the results check into the your source control. So once your build action is completed, it will come for the post build action. So here one thing is like we have developed an in-house utility to do the automated result extraction that will give the results in the customized formats. In the performance testing perspective, it will give the test name, test duration, average response time, 90th percentile standard deviation, and pass fail count, right? So it will generate in the form of XLS file and share it by means of a mail to all the stakeholders involved in it. So this is the technology-wise stack we have used, the Jenkins master slave concept. Because as I said earlier, the slave is each slave is assigned with each controller to execute the projects which we have. And also we made use of the multi-job plugins. Since using this multi-job plugin, if you do build for one job, which in turn will trigger the rest of the individual jobs. Environment which we are using is Linux and Windows, mainly for the test execution, and also Java, which is at the end of the post build action. We have the custom utility to generate the results, right? So we made use of this Java concept to prepare an utility to do that function. So these are some of the key points to be noted. Since everything, the result execution in your build options happening in the form of non-GUI mode, right? So you can automate in the neoload command line argument itself. You can do the results checking into the SVN, and also it does not require any external plugins. Say for example, in case if you are using neoload, you don't want to have neoload plugins explicitly to be added to the Jenkins. Why? Because neoload has the facility of having the command line execution. The same arguments you can add it in the Windows batch command in the build section, and you can easily do so. And second would be, since everything is happening in the mode of command line execution for the multiple builds, you can ask how we can monitor the test. So the best option would be you can go to the neoload web, for the web access you will be having. There you can virtually look into the stats of each individual executions. And third would be like, as I said, like at the post build action, we have the custom utility developed, which flavors you to give the results as you want. Finally would be the benefits. As I said, like it really helps us in performing multiple load tests or stress or endurance tests at the same time without any manual intervention. And also the manual intervention in connecting the different modules, controllers, LGs, etc., and automated results check into the repository, right? If you take the timely benefits, yes, it saves the timely benefits, the manual effort of 2 hours. Why this 2 hours is very crucial is because if we do these things manually, it will take entire day for the performance tester to complete this task. If we automate it, we can use this 2 hours of manual efforts for doing the quality or quantitative analysis for the bottlenecks which we identified in our test executions, right? And other would be in case of our absence, if we need any emergency kind of testing, if we give some only the build related rights to the development team or some functional testing team, they can only even trigger the test and have the results for their analysis. And as I said, like it would be very faster through automation, saves a lot of manual efforts, and cost wise also it is saving a lot, because this is also reducing the manual effort, which in turn reduces the total number of peoples involving in it. So yeah, you can post the question in the chat. I like really appreciate to post the questions, and I can easily get back to you and reply on that. Yeah, thanks guys. We are at the end of it. Shivam?
Yes, sir. I believe we have started getting some questions. In the chat, we have received a question. So probably answering that, as this is a lightning round, so we would be taking just this question
Okay.
as, and two questions. Like we have a question from Amit
Yeah, how do
Patil.
you manage data? Question raised by Amit Patil. So we have an option with the NeoLoad, right? To have to load the data directly from SQL. There is an option to make a SQL connection with it. So thereby writing the query there before before the initialization of the test. As a preloading option, this NeoLoad will execute all the SQL queries and feed your data into the CSV file, like how we have the setup thread group. Thereby, you can make the JDBC connection in the JMeter, right? Same kind of thing. You can do it here. Swapna, how we can map this end-to-end testing in mobile? I'm not really getting this question in the mobile specifically in the sense. Can you a little bit elaborate on that question? I can.
Can I talk?
Yeah.
Yeah, hi, like we are saying that this is implemented on mobile platforms and web services. So I would like to understand, like, how do we like particularly do the, say that hardware performance and the system performance of the mobile, how can we individually show on this platform? Do we have anything
Swapna,
separate?
yeah, I can understand. Yeah, this is completely triggering the test, whereas the resource usages, I mean the application, the node usages you mean to ask, right? So
Yeah,
those, and also in case of mobile, how the network bandwidth, everything, right?
right.
Those cannot be monitored. This is explicitly for test automation. But again, if you are going for mobile, your network simulation of 3G, 4G, this bandwidth simulation, you can predefine in the your performance testing tool. And this particular scenario, you can trigger it through this automation approach.
So I would like to understand, there are some like integrated tools you're saying specifically that we can check on this in the process of performance testing, right? Or it is separate?
No, this is purely a command line based execution, right? You no need of adding any extra plugins or extra tools in your Jenkins setup. If you take load runner or JMeter or NeoLoad, if all the three mentioned tools has an option to execute in the command line mode, right? So
Yeah,
you no need to,
CLI.
yeah, CLI. So you no need to add explicitly a plugin to the Jenkins setup. You can just make a connection to that machine because already you made a connection by means of slave to your master. And in the build action itself, you have the option for executing batch commands for the Windows and shell for the Linux, right? Depend upon the platform, you can make the command line arguments there and you can do the execution easily.
Sure, understood. Thank you.
So in this presentation, I explicitly talk about NeoLoad, but this can be easily implemented for all the command line based tools, whichever it is.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, sir, for this like amazing informative session in such a short amount of time. So this would be the feedback.